2021. And there's our temperature for you. Hope you can read that. And I even got a little humidity meter. That's what we're having inside the house. But I'm going to actually put one out here on the wall too. It didn't come. I ordered two of them, a white one and a blue one, and it hasn't come yet, the white one. But it says it's on the way. So, but they boxed it up real good. It's a nice little unit. I checked it. I have a scientific thermometer, and I checked it against that, and it's dead on the money. It's really good. I don't have a humidity meter, but I'm going to get a little barometer in here too, so I can let you guys see the weather. But we're back. We're back from visiting our buddy for his birthday, and we picked up Mama and our friend Pink Lady and Mayette. And they're going to stay with us a couple days. They're off work now, so they're going to be here a while. So that's going to be a nice visit. But one of the other things I wanted to talk about, and it seems like in the last week it's really hitting home, and something everybody should be aware of. But these dark tints on the cars, I'm betting they contribute to a boatload of accidents, just tons of them. One of the things that happened to me was a guy stopped. I was trying to back out of a Alto Mart, and he was sitting there, and his windows were blacked out. I couldn't see a car coming up behind him, and he was over far enough somebody could shoot around him. Now he did see me, and then he opened up his window and waved me on. So that was pretty cool of him. I thought that was real good. But when I drive here, I like to keep a decent following distance. But it just becomes untenable, to even do that, because 10 people will cut in front of you, and that's what really makes that suck. Well, what happened to us, we're cruising along, and there was this SUV. Now I'm high enough I can still see, but the windows were completely blacked out, so I can't see that. Why do they even bother with third brake lights in this country? You can't see them. I couldn't see anything, couldn't see inside, couldn't see through this vehicle. So I was backing off. Well, of course, then the people behind me, they see a gap, so they got to shoot around me. Guy shot around on the median around me and zoomed in behind that guy because he couldn't go any further because there was a car in the left lane. Well, that person slammed on their brakes because all the traffic in front stopped, and he hit him. He smacked right into him, and I thought, it seems to me a lot of people driving here are in a hurry to get to the funeral home. It's just the way it is. But this super dark tint, it's a safety. I think it's a safety issue, guys. I know they make a big fuss in the U.S. about it. I didn't put tint on my little buggy. I didn't. I was thinking of it just for so that they aren't seeing you without a mask or something and stop you and give you a ticket or anything. And that hasn't happened, but just in case. Happened to my buddy where the cops will stop you, and he never got a ticket though. But I truly think it's really unsafe. And they say, it helps keep the car cooler and all that. I've gotten into some people's that cars was sitting out with the windows up, and it just seemed as hot as mine. That's why I've always bought white. If I buy new, I try to buy white, so that they don't get as hot. And it is nice. It does help to put like a aluminum shade in the dash. I don't have one right now, but those seem to help out a lot. But be careful when you're driving here. And you will run into times so when you want to have some decent following distance for safety, and they're just going to take it away from you. 7 people come shooting around you and jam in there and cut you off. They don't care. And in this country, if they cut you off and hit you because they were in front, it's your fault. That's just the way it goes here. Somebody just sent me a thing here that they got smashed in from the rear. This was on I believe I got it off the Messenger. They were in Davao and got hit in the rear by somebody, and it was their fault. They're the ones who had to pay. So there's a lot of crooked stuff going on here, especially if you get a lawyer. You definitely don't want to get a lawyer that you don't know, because they might be working for the other people or have in the past, or a relative. You'll get a lot of that. You'll get a lot of relatives that are lawyers, or they know somebody and those people come to them. And if you don't think that stuff goes on, well, then you're just dreaming, guys, because it happens here regular. Our friend was sitting still at a red light, and some guys came in and hit him in the side. Did a huge amount of damage to his truck. It was a four-wheeler, and it broke the aluminum case, transmission thing on the side. I mean, just a huge amount of money. He was showing me all the parts that had to be replaced because they were broke, and he had to pay for that. And it was their fault. He was sitting there, and they were cutting a corner and smashed right into his front right wheel, and the poor guy had to pay. So that's really screwy. That's why we have insurance on the buggy. You can drive here without it. It's not mandatory. But we just got it, and it's not that expensive. This last one, you buy it by the year here to get your best deal, and it was like $18,000. And I'm just gonna keep getting it. I'm gonna just keep getting it because it's they'll hit you and nail you. Let the insurance companies fight it out. Let the insurance company do the fighting for you, and then they'll make sure they don't pay. But a lot of people drive without it. Most people do. Now, I don't have any on the motorcycle here. Absolutely none on that. But that might change also. Because then you can get, in case if somebody hits you with no money, in case somebody would run into me, if I can get like a full comprehensive coverage. We're looking into it now, to make sure everything gets paid. We do have a fund set up in case if something goes catastrophically wrong here. But that's the way it goes. I hope they don't try to make these jabs mandatory here. That's a thing that's being bounced around, and I just hate that. That'll be a big that'll be a flight back to the States because they're just. I don't understand how anybody could actually make that mandatory. We're the guinea pigs on this stuff. I keep seeing on Facebook where they'll put these fact checkers say that these things, the C19er has been thoroughly tested, blah blah blah. No, it hasn't, guys. You're the test, and I'm just not into that. I'm not into being a test guinea pig. They don't pay anybody for it. Usually, when they run trials and stuff, they pay people for it. I knew a buddy when I was very young. They had some kind of a trial on some kind of new drug, and he took a vacation. It was a month-long thing where he had to go stay there. They fed him, they clothed him, and they paid him like a huge amount per hour. And they wanted to watch him 24 hours a day. They had a bedroom with cameras in it and all this stuff. And he took their drug on their program. And while he was on vacation, he said, man, I ate whatever I wanted. I ordered whatever I wanted from a menu. They fed me real good. And this was way back when, people were making $3-4 an hour. He said they paid me $10 an hour. And he took this drug. Now they got it where they're doing it for free. And I'm seeing on here, if anybody else runs into this too, about the graphene in it, graphene oxide. Guys, I would definitely, if you're going to get this thing, if you want it, I've been saying this for a long time. If you want it, get it. But here's the thing. I would recommend that you look and ask them. I would like to see the list of ingredients. I wouldn't take it without a list of ingredients. Most every drug you buy in the store, when you open up, it's got that little sheet you open up. It tells you all the stuff that's in it, and side effects and all this kind of stuff. But we're hearing too much of people getting pretty sick. There's some people getting on there that are not well from this thing. Maybe it doesn't get everybody. I know a couple other people that I talked to on Messenger through the channel and stuff, and they've had it. I know some that had 2 of them already, and no problem. But something I'm going to tell you about coming here. Tropical Tim's my buddy, and his beautiful wife Ray. She was in the States wanting to get back real bad, so she got the two jabs to make sure she could get back in, right? Still had to go into quarantine, and nobody asked her for it. She even volunteered to show them, look, I've got my. They didn't want it. They didn't care. So that tells you right there. They just want you to go into quarantine and pay all this bucks. Somebody's making money off of that. They're getting kickbacks on that big time. And you hear different prices too. Some people are paying huge amounts. There was one grandpa vlogger had a thing on there, and I think he was talking about some Filipino that was coming back, And he said by the time the quarantine was done, and his money was out. He didn't have enough money to spend on family and stuff. It all went to this quarantine thing. And you see a lot of stuff. We saw it today. I didn't have the camera out. I wished I would have, but we saw a whole group of police guys, and they have these like really cool paddy wagons. They kind of sit with their backs to each other and facing out the side. None of them had it on. Another thing that happened to us, we stopped up at the Army Navy. Some dude actually came, some guy in a outfit, took our license number, wrote our license number down, wouldn't say why. Hey, handsome. But so I went in, and I had forgot my face shield. I just had my mask on. Well, the girl said, we can't serve you unless you have a face shield. Now, nobody in the restaurant that was sitting down eating had a mask or a face shield on. Nobody. And I didn't see, a couple of the tables didn't even have them sitting on the table. And the girl behind the counter didn't have a mask or a face shield on at all. And I'm like, well, I have to go. Oh, no, we can't serve you now. It was like, okay, you can't have anything now. And I thought, my goodness, this is just so odd. And nobody in the kitchen was wearing one. Now they're breathing all over your food, maybe coughing in there. Who knows? Well, wait a minute. If this is something that a customer walks in and it's mandatory, why is it not mandatory for the workers? I mean, if it's going to be mandatory, make it mandatory for everybody. Now, they tell you can take this stuff off when you're eating. Well, there were a lot of people eating in there. We like Army Navy. And, there's good ones and bad ones, though. If you guys come here, it depends on the manager. That one up close to us here, the only thing good in there is that breakfast burrito. I guess you can't really mess one of those up. But, they'll give you hard-shelled tacos that the bottom's just soaked and falling apart. They give you, like the Starving Sailor, which is a sandwich I like. It's nothing but a wet piece of goo, and it's full of gristle. This is what I got there. And I just don't want to go back. I went back the one day I thought I'll try the breakfast burrito, and I got to admit that one was good. Now, there were different cooks in there. It was early in the morning, and it was different cooks. So you never know. You got to watch a lot of these restaurants here. I just saw somebody else talking about I think it was on Facebook, about the hamburgers in this country. And it is true when you come here. Don't expect you're going to get. Now you can go like to Burger King. I wish they had a Carl's Jr. here, but you could go there and still get. It still tastes pretty good. But even McDonald's, you get a Big Mac, it's horrible. They're just absolutely nasty. You do get old. As the guy in there said, yeah, I didn't know lettuce was brown. And I said, yeah, you'll get that here. You'll get really nasty stuff. It seems here in the Philippines you don't get a lot of lettuce. Another thing that's really hard to find, and lettuce, by the way, is super expensive here. I've seen 279 pesos for a little iceberg head like this big. Little tiny one. 279 pesos. That's like $5. $6. But that's really ridiculous for that. That's why we don't buy it. And celery, you're going to very rarely find celery here. The one time I did find some celery, it was about 6 inches long, and they were just little, like a pencil. It was really strange. Hey, Coco. Hello. That's our brother-in-law, Coco. He's been working here for a while now, and they really like him. He's a good worker, though. I knew that from a long time ago. But this is what you run into here. But do be careful when you come here and drive. I do. If I had it all to do over again, I would just hire somebody all the time. I wouldn't have bought the car. I just wouldn't have. It's a headache. Seems like every time I go to Manila, one of them traffic cops gets you for something silly, and they take your money. They'll reach right in there and take your money out. They know that even though you didn't do anything, like I had the last time I got in a little tiff with them, I had the video. I went completely through. It was still counting down on that 3, 2, 1 on the caution, and I was clear of that intersection before it got down to 1. And he stopped me anyway. And they know that even if you fight it, you can win. I said, I got it on camera. They know that you'll have to drive all the way back there. He knew I was from far away, from Batangas, and he knew that. So, nope. And I said, yeah, but I'll show it. Nope, don't need to see it. Bring it to court. That's what they tell you. He didn't want to see it. And it would have been nothing to take the card out and put it in my my phone and play it. But nope, I'm not going to look at. Nope, nope. You come to court, it's going to cost you $2,500. You know, it's what they do. So instead, they take. You know, I didn't. It's against the law to give those guys money. But when I was sitting there with my wallet in my hand, he reached in, grabbed $1,000. Thank you, sir, and away he went. And this is very, very common here, guys. You're going to run into this a lot. I'm not the only one. There's some other expats that had talked about stuff like that happening, and it's a real shame. You know, they do see that Kano face, and you know, they just call everybody an American here. It doesn't matter if they're German or not. But the one German fellow I was talking to, he got nailed, and they got 1,000 pesos off of him. And he said he didn't do anything wrong either, and he just got fed up with it, parked his car, wound up put it up for sale, sold it, and then he just goes around in a van. He said that, you know, this is just extortion, and it's just a skin tax type thing is what he was talking about. Real nice fellow I met. I haven't talked to him for a while now. That was before I even had the car. I just had the Piaggio, but they stop you for all kinds of stuff. You know, it's just ridiculous. But do be careful when you're driving, and you'll see when you come here, 50% of the vehicles got tint so dark you can't see through them. When you buy a car from the dealer, that's like in the price. You know, they just come up to you and they say, oh, you know, what color of tint you want, and they show you the different shades. And when I told them I didn't want the tint at all, I want zero tint, and they were like, well, we're not going to give you the money back for it. You know, I was like, okay, fine. You know, I just don't want it. And then now I would like to get, you know, would be kind of good if I had it mirror, just like a light mirrored tint, something you could still see through, but not so that you can see that so much. You know, because our friend Dexter, not the Dexter from Carmona, but the one from San Pedro, he came down here to Lipa. He was delivering some food stuff. He's the one that has the restaurant business, and they smashed his back window out and stole his stuff, and he got the window fixed, and and they did it a second time. They smashed his window out and took his stuff, and it's like, wow, that happened to him twice right here in Lipa City, and we even now know right where it happened. It was right on the main drag. There had to be a lot of people around, but I have seen that here. In the Philippines, I was at my buddy's, and there were some people waiting for a jeepney, a whole line of people, and these two guys pulled up on a motorcycle in broad daylight. They had stuff. This is before COVID. Now they still had like a baklava face masks on and helmets and no plate on the bike, and they pulled up to those people. The guy got off, pulled a gun out, and robbed every single one of them right while we were across the street. And, you know, they don't allow, most people don't have firearms here, except the criminals. That's just how it is. It's crazy to me, but it's their country. It's the way they do it. But I personally, myself, I think if I'd have been in the States, I'd have been sending some ammunition that fellow's way. I'm serious, because I carried everywhere I went, even at work. My boss and I, we ran into a tiff. And these guys were gonna come beat us with pipes, and the only thing that stopped them was we couldn't have ran, because the way this place was, there was nowhere to go out the back. Couldn't get out the back. The only way in and out of this joint was in the front, and we went out on the porch and just put our hands on the pistol. They thought we were going after our tools, and they kept coming. Well, when they got closer, my boss pulled out his pistol, and I pulled out mine, and they hightailed it. You know, they jumped back in their truck and took off. But they were coming up with big pieces of pipe. They were going to pipe us. So, but here you have to watch. Some people said in my last video, you know, oh, it was very dangerous when I was going into that squatter area. No, we used to live, when I first moved here, we lived right on the street by that area. And, you know, we know everybody in there. My wife lived there for, my goodness, 16 years before I met her. She knows everybody. They know me. There's so many people around here that come up, hey, Rick, how you doing? And it's like, I don't remember them. You know, my wife will say, oh, you met that one. Oh, yeah, when did I meet her? Oh, you met her about 6 years ago when we were parked over by the side. Yeah, right. I remember that. I don't remember most of these folks. And one thing you'll find out too when you come here, introductions are almost zero here. Very, very rarely will Filipinos say, okay, this, you come to visit or come to a party where they'll take you around and say, okay, this is Bon, this is Bob, and it just doesn't happen, guys. It just doesn't happen. Now, they'll go to somebody and ask, what's that foreigner guy's name? And they'll all know your name because they're asking each other. But they won't. Most people won't tell you. You'll go up and shake their hand or something. They won't tell you what their name is. You know, they just won't. And I remember when some of my wife's family come up, cousins and stuff came up, and an uncle, and they came up to visit. Not one person. I even asked one guy, what's your name? He wouldn't tell me. He was too busy asking to take all the stuff out of it. Oh, give me that. Give me this. Oh, you've got lots of stuff. Let me have this. I finally got to, just get out of here. People just got to leave. You know, that kind of ticks me off when they do that. But it's the way it goes. But do be careful when you're driving, and I'm going to go ahead and let you go now. But it's a nice, pleasant day. It's kind of misty rain right now. You can see the clouds aren't. But there's little. I'm getting hit with little tiny mists of rain. But very cool right now. The sun's not blaring. When the sun was out earlier, it was pretty good. On the way home, we were driving through on and off rain. And there is one spot on the Skyway. Next time I go there, I'm gonna mark it. But it's where you come down a hill, and then there's like a new concrete section. And when it rains hard, that'll hold. Like today, we went through about 6 inches of water on it. It had stopped raining by the time we got to it, but that water just doesn't drain off. That highway, if you're paying for a toll for that, you know, I even told them at the guard, you know, the toll gate, hey, you know, somebody needs to fix that. That's going to get somebody in a terrible accident. And if you're paying for this toll, I think we got a right, we're a customer, to complain on that and say, hey, you guys got to drain that or something. I don't care if you got to put pumps in or something. This is just ridiculous. This is during the rainy season. We've gone through that thing 3 times already. And some people are just not too bright. They don't slow down for it. You know, they just don't. I see water up ahead when I'm driving. My goodness, I'm going to slow way down. I'm going to slow down as much as I can, because you hydroplane here, you're going to lose control. When I was first driving, I had this little beat-up Volkswagen, and it had pretty narrow tires. And I knew about hydroplaning from school, you know, drive classes in school and stuff. And they show you a film of how it lifts the tire up off. They drive over a piece of glass, and there's water around it. But I thought, oh, I got these super skinny tires. I think they were 600 tires. And and it had really good treaded snows on the back, and I had good tires. That's one thing I had on that. I had really good tires on it. I knew there was a big puddle coming up, but I thought, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be real cool and just blast through this, you know, and splash water all over. Ah ha ha! You know, it was the Volkswagen that's supposed to be able to float. And I went flying through that, and next thing you know, I was spinning. I think that car went around 3 times, because when it came out the other side, when it started going sideways, in my head, I cut the wheel, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just stayed steady, but it was turning the car sideways, so I was cutting the wheel into where I was going, and as soon as I came out, when them front tires grabbed the dry ground, it just spun that thing around, and it did not flip. You know, a lot of times those Volkswagens, they'll do jacking, but I actually had a Z-bar on that one, which kept it planted really good. And that was a great highway car. I don't care what anyone says. I just loved that thing. It wasn't in the most beautiful or in the best of shape, but you could get that son of a gun out on the highway and cruise along at 80 miles an hour, and it just floated. It rode nice. It had a nice sound to it. It wasn't real loud. And it just seemed like you were just going. It seemed like the front would kind of lift up a little bit, and it would just shag ass down the road. Yeah, buddy. No, we don't want this. I don't have the case for the water right now, bub. So I'm gonna let you go, and you want to do the honors? That's my beautiful baby boy. We had a good trip. We had a really nice time. We love our friend Dudong and all the rest of the people. We don't get to see them as often as we want, but we budgeted a trip up there, and now they're coming to stay with us for I think 3 days. My wife was saying, and we're always glad to have them. We just love all these guys. So let you go, guys. We'll see you.